Hello, it's Nikki and welcome to an account update. I had this requested actually, and a couple of you in Discord have chatted about this. I'll talk more about that in the video, but I thought it'd be fun if I just kind of updated you guys on like the state of my account and showed you guys my builds and which characters I have, and just like have a chill little time where I kind of show you all my hard work. Let's get into it. So I got a comment, hello, thank you, and I've gotten other, discussions in Discord and stuff asking about like the state of my account in Natlan, now that 5.0 is out. You guys know that I'm not a meta channel. Like, my account is not a meta one, and we are not a combat channel. We are slow learners here, or I am a slow learner here, but I have been playing Genshin for a few years, or a couple years now. I don't know, about 4. And I've learned a lot since I first started playing. A lot of my older content, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm still learning a lot. Like, I still wouldn't say that I know everything, but I can reasonably say I understand elemental mastery. Like, I know how certain, like, the concept of rotation and what makes a rotation efficient and energy particles. I know more about that now. I didn't know shit about that before. So I thought that I would just update y'all on like my best teams. Oh, not the volcano going off in the background. Anyways, I thought we'd just start off just simply looking at the characters that I have. Obviously I have my favorites up here, but all of these characters that are 90 are all built except I would say Sarah. So I would say after Zhangling on, so all these other characters are clearly, obviously, very underbuilt or not even touched. I do have plans to maybe build out some of these units, but I would say my my goal thus far has been to just kind of like polish up the units that I already have built. I would really like Chen. I think that's the only unit who I don't have that I really, really want. Anyone else that I would pull would be like a luxury pull or a pull that's just like for fun. Let me go through the teams now and just kind of show you what my main teams are. This is my husbando team, so this is just the eye candy team. I have John Cena. This is my Geo team. A lot of the time will put Bennett here if I'm running this in Abyss. Let me show you what the situation is for Itto. So his ratio isn't that bad. It's not that great. We do have quite a lot of defense on him. We do have his weapon. The only thing I would say is I'm waiting for enough of, you know how in Natlan we have like the new artifact creator. I want to get like a defense sans for him because I've just been having absolutely shit luck with this domain. But for the most part, like it's not the best Itto you've ever seen in your life. And like I said, I will always be constantly fixing and adjusting Itto's pieces because like I just want him to be perfect. He's okay. He's okay. I do have him at C2. Eventually I would love to get him to C6, but I am not made of money. Brother is triple crowned. We have Goro. He's on Fab. I do have him at C6. He's on a support set. And I do have pretty high investment talents for him as well. Ningguang, like I said, I don't really usually run her with this team. And I'll show Bennett in another team, but she's okay. She's kind of just there to look pretty. Like she's here to look pretty. I do have her at C6, and I do have her at pretty high talent investment. Like I said, I don't really use her in Abyss, but she's fun for overworld content. My Zhongli, Dragon Daddy, he's okay. Like he's not the worst. I do have Staff of Homa on him. I have him full Millilith. His pieces are all right. Like they're not the best pieces you've ever seen in your life. I tried to do like a a fusion of like DPS and support, which I know you're not supposed to do. Like you're supposed to pick, like, are you going to build him as a DPS? Okay, build him as a DPS. If you're not, then build him full support. And like, I understand, but also I'm deaf and I suddenly don't understand English. So he's both. I do have him at C2. And I have him at triple crowned. So that's that team. They do pretty well if I've got the stacks correct. If I have Bennett here. Goro needs a little bit more ER. My Goro is on Fav, but his ER, let me find his ER. Yeah, he needs a little more ER. He's pretty low on it. And it's detrimental, honestly. That's the main issue with this team, but as it is, like, it's a very strong team. This is my wrio team as of right now. I know it's kind of a little random, but it works, and my wrio is pretty strong. I would definitely be putting Shenhe here, and Shenhe would give me the opportunity to kind of build multiple different teams with wrio. I could do freeze with Shenhe, or I could do like 2 like wrio and Shenhe and like maybe 2 pyro. But as of right now, since I don't have Shenhe, I'm kind of just doing like a typical freeze with like a little boost to wrio's like personal damage. I do have Shangling as well, so I could do like melt with him as well. So it's really just whatever. This isn't like my tried and true wrio team, like how Itto kind of has only like one team that you can like really use with him that's super meta. You know what I mean? Wrio's a little more flexible, just the nature of not being a Geo unit, unfortunately, but I'll show you guys my wrio. He's pretty good. This does look a little low on paper, but he does have a lot of crit rate that's given to him. His weapon, which increases his crit rate, and he also has like a lot of passive charge attack, normal attack bonuses he gets from his weapon. I do have him on the Fontaine, I'm going to say Hunter set. His pieces are okay. Not the best, but they're like serviceable. Like I said, I really do want to eventually polish up these units to, you know, something I really am proud of. But as of right now, like, it works. His pieces really aren't the best. It's serviceable, like it's fine. And with putting him with other units that buff him, like he does pretty decent damage. And I would really like at least his C1, because this does a lot for his kit, and I would love to grab this for him. At some point. He is triple crowned, of course. My Xingqiu's okay. He's not the best, but it works, and he's fine. He's such a strong unit that, like, honestly, you slap a sacrificial sword on him this set, and give him some talents, he'll be fine. I do have him at C6. My Paza is pretty weak. Honestly, his build is pretty shit. So yeah, as you can see, his pieces aren't like that great. His pieces are pretty, like, look at this. Like, yeah, like 28 is nice, but he would more like, look, this is, you know, pretty high talent investment. Yunjin has a shit ton of defense. That's all she needs. She's got Fav. I mean, I don't think anyone really cares. C6, high investment talent. Okay. So that would be wrio's personal team. And like I said, I would love to put Shenhe as his second in command, and play around with different teams with him, that just, because I do like wrio. I know not everyone has him. He's like one of the units that a lot of people didn't pull for, but I actually really enjoy using him, and he's fun, and obviously he's hot, and he's my husband. So anywho, moving on, we have our X Games mode. Alhaitham team. I use Hytham with a lot of different teams, like Hyperbloom especially. I like a lot of Hyperbloom variations. I know Kuki is really good in Hyperbloom, but I just have her as a healer unit for this team. This team is tried and true. I'm really comfortable with this team. I understand this team's rotation really well. I've played this team a lot. This team has gotten me through a lot of abyss floors that I struggled with. Hytham is such a strong unit. But anywho, I love this team. If I replace Miko with Xingqiu to make it a Hyperbloom team, that's something I do often. But if I'm going full Hytham like spread, this is what I pick. My Hytham is pretty okay. Like, he's got a pretty, you know, this could be 7. This could be a little better, but you know, it is what it is. He's got his sword. We've got him on this set. His pieces are okay. Like I said, they're not like awful. They're pretty good. Pretty high crit damage on these. Pretty decent. Like, it's okay. It rolled a shit ton of attack for like no discernible reason. I mean, I guess it's better than defense, but like it couldn't have gone into crit rate. Like, anyway, and it's on set too, which is just annoying. But yeah, like, look at this roll. I don't want to talk about it. I have him at C2, so he is pretty strong. I have him triple crowned. Hytham is a very strong unit in general, but he does carry a lot of my content. If I'm struggling with anything, I either bring out him or neuvillette. they're like my tried and true. My Miko's all right. Pretty okay. I have some R5 with Sith on Miss Ma'am. I do have her on the Golden Troop. I did switch her off of Thundering Fury, or no, what did I have her on? I forgot what I had her on, but I switched her onto this because this is like, it gives a huge boost to her little pillars. No constellations, but I do have her at very high skill investment. My Nahida is okay, not the best, honestly, but she's like she's such a strong unit, it doesn't really matter. Like her crit is like, who even knows? But she has a pretty discernible dendro bonus. I have this just for the EM. I don't really need to use her skill twice. Like, I don't really use the passive on this, but just the EM to boost up her stats is what I use this for. Have her on the dendro set. Her piece is all right. Kind of would like better pieces on her. Like, she doesn't need all this attack. Definitely would like some more EM. This didn't roll really well. Rolled onto HP. Yeah, see, not really great pieces. This isn't that bad, actually. This is pretty okay. But yeah, like, look at this. But I just needed an EM circlet, so like I said, not the best Nahida. I don't have any cons, but I do have very high investment on her. My Kuki, I've been switching around a lot. She doesn't have any crit, but it's not necessary. I do have her on Sipho's. I have been trying to find a way to switch her onto the Hyper Bloom set. I don't think I have it. I don't think I have any pieces saved. I think I strongboxed all of them because they were literally all trash. But you know, the purple Hyper Bloom Dendro set thing. The same set that you have in Skara's artifact set domain in the desert. I just haven't had a chance to farm it, honestly. And she works as she is as of right now. So, but eventually I would like to switch her off onto the Hyper Bloom set, but I have her on Melolith right now, which is serviceable. Her pieces are okay. I have her a little bit of HP for that healing. And I just tried to give her some more EM. I had her more built for for healing, and then I switched her more to EM because I got better and I didn't really need to rely on her healing, which isn't even that insane anyway, but she keeps us alive in Abyss, so it's fine. I do have her at C6, so if she does go down, she comes back up at least one more time, and I have very high investment in her skills. All right, and this is family therapy. This is the only team I really use Diluc in. I know it's not his meta team. I know his meta team now is Shinyan plunge vape thing, which is fun, by the way. I love using that team, but this is like what makes me happy to use. I like using him with his brother. And so I've built these, well, at least definitely built Kaya as a strict sub DPS for Diluc. I know, because you can build Kaya a bunch of ways. My Diluc is okay. Like, it's a pretty decent ratio. I do not have his 5-star weapon. I'm waiting for Wolf's Gravestone. Have been waiting for it for years now. It's still not home, so that fucking sucks. And I wasn't gonna pull on the sword was on the Mondstadt banner that they had a while back, but I was saving at that point and it just wasn't worth it to get Wolven's Gravestone. Like, I wasn't gonna spend all that for the sword, so I'm hoping it just comes home on the standard banner someday, like on the free pulls we get. His pieces are okay. Again, like, I haven't really touched his build. I'm like saving it, so like when we actually get his sword, I'll go back and like I'll have to rearrange his build anyway, because his sword is adding to his crit ratio right now. Without the sword, if I was to switch him to, like, if I had Wolf's Gravestone right now, it would fuck up his crit damage anyway, so I almost have him at C6, and Triple Crowned, obviously. Kaya is pretty decent. I mean, not the most amazing Kaya you've ever seen in your life. I do have him on Jade Cutter. I know he, as a cryo unit, he gets a lot of crit rate if you put him with 2 cryo units, but like I said, I use him with Diluc. I rarely use him in a team where there's 2 cryo units, so I give him a lot of crit rate because he's never gonna have that, you know, cryo resonance crit rate boost anyway. I have him on Noblesse because I want him to buff his brother. His pieces are okay. I mean, you know, like, it's fine. It's serviceable. Some of these pieces could definitely be better, but it works. Like, it's fine. I do have him at C6, so he is a strong boy and he's triple crowned as well. I showed you guys Kazuha already. My Bennett is okay. I mean, he could be better, but I also have Bennett on noblesse. I need to polish up my Bennett. He's kind of all over the place. Like I said, Bennett just works as a unit. Like, he's good, even if you have him at a pretty mediocre build, he like gets the job done. But he's not the most insane Bennett you've ever seen, but like he's serviceable. Like, he does the job. Have him at C5. I'm not gonna activate his C6. Do have pretty high investment for Benny Boy. And so that's like concludes like my main like husband teams that I like to use. Of course, now we're gonna go down. This is just my adventuring team. I like to run around with Lumine. I did recently build Lumine. You're gonna say, wait, you didn't build her as Dendro? No. For no other reason than just, listen, I'll show you the reason. This is the reason. Do you see the sword? That's the reason. That's why I built her as a water unit. She has a pretty Narcissus and Croix sword. Why am I not gonna use that? It looks so pretty. So I built her just so she could reasonably use this sword. I think I have her on, okay, yeah, this set, which is like, it gives a hydro bonus and like it essentially stacks like a little bit of extra damage after like any attack. So normal, charge, burst, not E, your amount of skill. Like, it's just like an overall all-rounder, and I don't use her in any like end game content anyway, so it doesn't really matter. She does just fine on the overworld, but yeah, pretty high investment. I mean, it's just whatever. I'll show you Xiao and Shenyun, and they're in my Xiao team. So this is Bombastic Side-Eye. This is probably the strongest team I have, simply because Neuvillette is here. I call it Bombastic Side-Eye because putting these 4 characters in a room together would be so entertaining, and I would pay money to see that. It'd be the best episode of reality TV ever. My Neuvillette is pretty decent. He's not the best. Like, I wish this was way more, but it is what it is. I do have his weapon. Was lucky enough to grab that without having to swipe. His pieces are okay. Not the best pieces I've ever seen in my life. But most of his stats are usable. So, you know, it functions. Like, it's fine. Don't have any cons. I probably won't pull for cons of Nuvi. Just because I tend to only pull cons for like my favorite husbands. And while I love Neuvillette, okay, I love this character a lot. He's like, I see him more as like a father figure. Like, I want him to tuck me into bed at night and like bring me fruit when I'm doing my homework, you know what I mean? But anyway, he is triple crowned, so he's very strong and he does good damage for me, gets me through any fight. Like, if I can't clear something with even alhaitham, which is rare, then Neuvillette is last resort. Farina is okay. Not amazing, but I do have R5 Fleuve Cendre. She has the Golden Troop. I think these pieces are okay. They're pretty decent. Not the best ever, but again, serviceable, and she's a strong unit, so it works regardless. I did switch her onto a crit circlet. I think I had her on HP, but it was just an unnecessary amount of HP. Just wasn't needed. No cons, but high investment on her skills. Venti, now I think of all the units I have like actually worked on, his build is probably one of the weakest. Both Kazuha and Venti have pretty weak builds, and I only say weak in the sense that their artifacts are just not good. Like, their artifacts are pretty mediocre. No crit to be seen. Pretty good ER. I do have Elegy. I got this, I think, pulling for Rio's weapon. I got like a double 5-star pull. So it was just luck that I was not intending to pull this, but I'm happy. This weapon is very strong and adds a lot of buffs for Neuvillette. Like I said, his pieces are the weakest pieces that I have, like, on any character. And because it's Venti and his kit, and like his main utility is the grouping of his tunnel, and we can activate the buffs from his weapon and this resonant the 4-piece set, like, he still adds a lot to the team, even though his build, like the actual stats he has, are pretty bad. Yeah, like look at this, like what, you know, like it's just they didn't roll well and they're not that great. So I want to work on getting him some better artifacts, but I just haven't had the time to strongbox and or run this domain to like try and farm to get like genuinely good pieces for both him and Kazuha, because I've just been trying to build out my characters a little bit. But yeah, high talent investment for Venti. I've shown you guys Zhongli, so you guys already know about Zhongli. Say hello, Neuvillette. Oh, he's so pretty. This is Pogo Stick Power. This is my premium Xiao team. I love Xiao so much. He's one of my favorite characters of the game. So getting him a team that buffs him to Kingdom Come is a privilege, and it's very fun. I also love Xinyan. Cloud Retainer is another favorite character of mine. Let me go ahead and show you guys what the deal is with him. So, okay, let me just say, my Xiao is not that great. Okay, this is pretty mediocre. It's pretty average, right? It's not that great. It's not bad, but it's not good. You know, it's just average. It's serviceable, but Xiao is a strong character and a good DPS, so he kind of makes up for it. And plus, I have a really good team for him, so he does easily churn out like 100, 200k plunges for me, even though I'm going to show you his actual stats like aren't that great. I do have his weapon. His weapon was actually one of the first weapons I ever got. My first 5-star ever, like in the whole game, was a double weapon 5-star pull. I pulled Jade Spear and Skyward Spine in a double weapon pull. I do have this set now. I strong boxed this set initially, and then once I got Ayato, I just farmed Vermilion since I was going to be using both pieces. But like these pieces aren't great. They're not horrible, but a lot of these like double crit didn't roll well, and none of these are useful to him. So you see what I mean by it's not that great. Like it's not horrible, but like look, like I can't use these two. Like it's not that great. So I would like to work on my Xiao. No cons. Do have him at 999. I might triple crown him at some point. I do have a C6 Farazan. Just have her on Moon. Her artifacts are okay. Again, serviceable. Not the greatest, but it works. It's fine. And then I have her at really high talent investment as well. I already showed you Farina. My Xinyan, now here is where I wish I had 4,500, which is like the cap of attack to get the biggest buff out of her. Someday I hope to get my hands on the standard, at least the standard banner 5-star weapon, which would just give her a shit ton of attack. I do have this, but like this doesn't do anything for her. Like this passive is absolutely useless. I mean, this one's not that much better, but at least it's doing something. At least it's doing something. And since she does heal, this bond of life mechanic is okay. She can heal it, and get a little bit of bonus from it, but I don't know. I don't really want to give this to her. I feel like this would just be nothing, but whatever. And I have it on Ningguang, and it's Ningguang's weapon. Like it looks pretty on Ningguang. So hopefully I get my hands on the standard banner 5-star to give her. I don't know if I'll ever pull her personal weapon. That would definitely fall under like super luxury pull. I do have her on Noblesse. Her piece is all right. I just essentially wanted to prioritize attack. So I was literally only looking to give her pieces with like a crap ton of attack and some EM and a little bit of crit rate. Like this is absolutely atrocious, but it's on set. I haven't had a chance to try and grind to get like a proper attack goblet, but yeah, attack on her. Pretty high investment. This is my Bloom team. It's just so fun. I think that this team is probably one of the most fun just because it's just like everything just goes boom and you don't just like barely any effort. Like it's so little effort that I can just have Kaveh on field while all their passives and like E and Qs are up. He just is on field having a blast, literally. And I have him at like C4, so he actually heals, and he has dendro resistance, so the blooms don't actually hurt him, so I on-field Kaveh. Because he's Kaveh. He's got like an okay ratio. I have him on the pretty blue flower sword. I know what you're thinking, but I'm gonna revert you guys back to my thoughts on Kuki, and that I want to eventually get her on that bloom set. I would like to put Kaveh on that set as well, but this is just essentially making it so when I am on fielding him, he does something. Like, he does some damage. Most of the damage isn't coming from Kaveh when he's on field. It's all coming from passives from Nahida and Coco, and especially Nilou. So it's not like he's just kind of there to look pretty, essentially. But Bloom is strong enough with Nilou that it doesn't matter. So yeah, he's just kind of on this random gladiator set. It works. He's got high talent investment. She is... No crit to be seen. Would like to at some point get this up to 90. It is what it is. I have her on this full set. Her pieces are serviceable. Not the best, not the worst. Pretty mediocre, but built and functions in Abyss quite well. So no cons on Miss Ma'am. Pretty high talent investment. Coco, she's okay. She's okay. I have her on prototype Amber. Clam set, pretty typical, mostly HP, some ER, but yeah, full HP and a healing Boda circlet. No cons, very high investment, but you know, it's Kokomi. You can build her pretty easily. Parasol Princess is another fun one. I'm only going to show you my Navia build because I showed you the other characters already. I love this team, actually. Navia's like so fun to use. I love using her like a freaking umbrella. I know, just be quiet. I understand. I know. Her weapon gives a lot to her kit. I do have her pretty weapon. She needs a crit damage circlet, but I am too lazy to farm just this domain specifically only for her. When I'm building, I'm trying to get like a lot of the new Natlan artifacts, so it's just been, I'll eventually get around to somehow getting her a circlet, or maybe I'll use the artifact creator to make her a crit damage circlet. Hopefully it rolls well, but yeah, I'll just eventually have to get her a better situation. I mean, her pieces aren't insane. Like, they're not like the most amazing pieces, but like most of my builds are serviceable. Like, they're okay. She is triple crown though, so she's a strong girly. Homegirl can easily punch out 300k on an umbrella E. So even with her crit damage that bad, like, she's just strong anyway, and I have good supports for her, so it doesn't matter. Oh, and this is another thing. I don't know what Shalonen will do. I know she's a Geo unit, and I assume she's gonna be a support. So I don't know if I'll switch, either add her to this team or switch her out with Zhongli. Captain Queens, this is so fun because I know Clorinde works really well with a aggravate team, and I use her in aggravate, but this is a really fun team to use in overworld for me, because I do have C6 Beto, and Beto's electro charged capabilities is just fun. And also they're two captains. Like, how can you not use these two? They're so fun to use together. And since Clorinde self-heals, like, I can get away without having like a dedicated healer. I mean, Singsho has a little bit of healing, but anywho, my Clorinde is pretty strong. She doesn't have that much crit rate. Do have her best in slot. But yeah, she just needs better crit rate pieces. She's got a lot of crit damage. Yeah, I would probably want to get this to be a crit rate circlet at some point. But like I said, I have her very strongly invested, and she does the job. My Beto is, I mean, but my Beto is more as like a fun sub DPS electro charged situation. I do have R5 Serpent Spine on Miss Ma'am, full ER set. She is C6 and pretty high investment in her skills. So she's just fun to have along for the ride, you know? 3 nerds, 1 jock. The jock being Beto, of course, and these other 3 nerds. So this is my cyno team. Cyno requires a lot of ER, and so I do run into some issue sometimes with these two, but if I can just like kind of funnel particles from Singcho's E into either beta or cyno, like it's serviceable. It's fine. My cyno is pretty good. I mean, he's okay. Not the best, but not the worst. I do have a second Jade Spear that I got from the standard banner randomly on those free pulls. I don't know why. Literally my account loves the spears. I don't know why. I just get so many spears. So I'm lucky enough to have a 5-star weapon on him. His build is all right. Like I said, it's fine. It's serviceable. Like all my other freaking builds, it's fine. It's strong enough. And it works. I do actually have C1 because I think it was Candace was on his banner. She debuted with him and I was pulling on his banner to get C6 Candace. So I ended up getting C1 cyno. And he's pretty strong. I've invested highly in him, in his talents. Baizhu was a luxury pull for me. I always was interested in Baizhu, and like his little snake. And I think I just like his hair. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I like long hair. Okay. I've been exposed. No crit to be seen, but that's okay. I do have Sacrificial Jade on him at R5. This is really strong, especially since he's off field most of the time and you get these buffs when you're off field. And I mean, it's a 64 EM buff, or excuse me, 80 EM buff and a 64% HP buff. So as a Dendro healer, he actually gets quite a lot of utility out of this. I don't know what other weapons to use on him because I don't have his BIS obviously, but this is pretty good because he's mostly off field and I only bring him on field to do his E or his Q. So, or if I need like extra Dendro application in an emergency. But yeah, his build's like, I mean, it's not hard to build him. Just EM and HP. I have a little bit of ER on him as well, just to keep his, since he's like normally the only Dendro unit on the team, or at least the teams I tend to use him in with like cyno. I wanted to make sure that he was on this set so he could have Dendro bonus and the red shred. Pretty high investment as well on Baizhu. This is not an actual team. This is just my Natlan team that I've been exploring with. It's more of a statement team, and if you can't understand what the statement is, then I don't know what to tell you. The characters that I do not have like specific teams, like my Candace, I don't really have her in a like Abyss team, mostly because she's very niche and you could use her in Bloom, and Arlecchino can use her, but I don't have Arlecchino and I don't really use her in my Bloom team. So I'm just gonna have to find hopefully a unit I can use her with in the future. I use her a lot in Overworld though. I want to build her more crit focused, I should say DPS focused. I want to get her a crit rate circlet. She has a crit damage circlet on right now, which is excessive considering I have a Homa on her. This came by accident. I didn't pull Homa twice. She's on a Hydro bonus and an HP bonus, and she scales a lot of her damage scales off of HP. This is my C6 Gladiator Queen. Would love to polish up her build. Like I said, it's not that great. I mean, we have 3 usable, but still, like, I mean, I wish it was a little better. But Zhongli stole her circlet. I originally had this on her, which fixed her crit ratio, but Zhongli I use a lot more in Abyss, or I actually use him in Abyss, period. So I gave him the crit circlet for this set to fix his ratio. C6, so she's quite strong and she's triple crowned. I have built Raiden, but yeah. Actually, this is a little higher because I do have Skyward Spine. So she does get a 12% crit rate increase, but it's not that great. And it does ER, so it functions. Like, it functions. These pieces are not good. They're okay. I don't really use Raiden. I've built her as like a DPS. I could build her as more of like a Hyper Bloom E-bot, but I have this weapon and I was like, you know what? This is the only weapon I could give this is the only character I could give this weapon to that would like genuinely make use of it. So I was like, fuck it, we'll just make her a regular old DPS raiden, and like pretty high investment in her talents. So, you know, it is what it is. Tighnari is another character I have built that I don't have like a dedicated team to, but he works. Like, he's pretty strong. I have a battle pass weapon on him, Dendro Res Shred, no constellations, and pretty high character level investment. His pieces are okay, like it's fine, like they work. I'd like them to be a little better, but like I said, I've been farming other domains, so I haven't had the chance to really, you know, try and refine his artifacts, but he does the job. Siggy, my sigewinne, is very fun to use. I love using her just for funsies. I know she's not the most insane unit on this planet, but like I do have a 3-star HP bow because there's no 4-star HP bows. So like, what am I supposed to do? I just have her HP stacked to the max and I have her pretty high invested. Ayato is another unit I have that I don't have like a dedicated abyss team for, but I like using Ayato. He's really fun. I do have this sword. I was pulling for clorine's sword and I got this one instead. And so I just gave it to him. His crit ratio could be much better, but like it is what it is. I think I need a crit circlet, or do I have a crit circlet? Oh, I do. Oh, he just needs, yeah. So he just needs better substats. Oh wait, I went through this way too fast. So yeah, he needs way more crit rate. These didn't roll that well, and this is a horrible piece. So I just kind of put on him like what I had. What I got, because I didn't farm vermilion that much, so I kind of had the pieces that I had and I just rolled them, and a lot of them didn't roll that well, but I didn't have much of an option. So his pieces are pretty mediocre, but it gets the job done. He's pretty high investment, and just having him in a hyper bloom team or a vape team, like he does really well. So I do love using Ayato, by the way. So if I have an excuse to use Ayato, I know I have neuvillette, so I didn't need Ayato, but I like this character a lot and I think he's fun to use. So I just use him when I'm just like, you know, messing around. Mona, C6 Mona, a lot of ER on her. Her crit is not the best, but you know, it's okay. Have her on this full set. I don't think it really, she's average. She's all right. She does the job. I do have her C6, so she's very strong in that sense in terms of all of her buffs and passives. And I do have high level talent level investment. Childe Tartaglia, he is, I mean, do we see the issue here? Yeah, I do. He never crits, ever. I do have Skyward Harp on him. His artifacts I have not touched since initially building him, so they're not the worst artifacts on the planet, but like it could be better. Yeah, like most of these are, I mean, this is not that great, but most of these are usable. Okay, I say usable, and then there's a double defense roll on Hydro Goblet, but you know what I mean. He's not like one of my favorite units, but I did pull him because I do think he's fascinating. I'm invested in his arc. And I want to see where he's going. So I did pull him. But anywho, no constellations, high talent investment for him. Lumine, I showed you. My dehya, I don't have a dedicated team for her either. She doesn't have great crit, but I kind of use her. I have this like the new Earthshaker weapon on her, which does like pyro-related reactions and gives you like elemental skill damage increase, which is just a fun little thing. I don't really use her in Abyss. I just use her for overworld fun exploration stuff. So I don't really need her to have like an insane build. But yeah, like she's just kind of like a safety unit, and I like to have her along. I do have her C1, and I do have her at high talent level investment. Who's left? Layla. I do have Layla built. She's just a shielder. I mean, I need to get this to 90. Just millilith. You don't need to see the stats. It's not that important. C2, full. I mean, a pretty good talent investment. She's fun to have. I like using her when I do like domains and co-op and stuff like that. Or just like overworld exploration just for fun. Because I do like her little sleeping, her little sleeping shield. But she's like a very fun unit. But I don't really ever use her in Abyss. Actually, I lied. I did use her in Abyss with, I think it was a couple Abysses ago when they had like the pyro lectors, and there was like fucking 4 of them or something. And I had Neuvillette, Farina, Venti, and I had Layla. My Sara, I was building. Don't ask why I have this, but listen. I got it on the standard banner as a random free pull. I'm really lucky with weapons. I don't know, bro. I don't know. It just came. I don't know who else to give it to. I was in the middle of building her, and then I kind of gave up. I was going to build her for clorinde. I might build her still since I do have a built raiden. I don't have any one constellation. I know she's like the best at C6, so like I kind of was like, once I get C6, I'll build her, which I don't know why. I probably won't wait that long. I don't foresee her being, I foresee myself getting C6 anytime soon, but I built Lisa for fun, just for fun. Just for fun. I have her on TF, like no cons, pretty high level invest, just for fun, just for overworld or co-op or whatever, just to have, because I like her little outfit. Xiao I built as well. She have the magic girl healing stick, dendro piece if I have her. I just give a lot of my dendro supports this, just because I don't know who I'm going to designate. I don't know who I'm going to put them with. And I just like knowing that if it's a healer or like a support that's dendro, I like to have the res shred, on them. So I built her full healer. She's C6. Pretty high talent investment, so she's good at what she does. She's good at what she does. I do have Xiangling built. This is pretty recent. Her crit ratio is pretty shit, but she has an insane amount of ER. I do have R5 catch on Miss Ma'am. Full severed fate. I mean, they're okay. I just went full crit and ER as much as I could. A little pyro damage. But yeah, I mean, not the best, but listen, it's fine, and she's strong enough that it literally doesn't matter. I also have a C6, so like it literally doesn't matter what her substats are. And I have pretty high talent investment, so woo. Anything after Xiangling, so all these characters here are not built, or like these are like all untouched level 1 characters. I don't know if I'll ever build some of these. I mean, never say never, I guess. I kind of attempted Toma. He was like actually one of the first characters I ever got. But I wasn't even in Inazuma when I got him, so I couldn't level him at all. So he was just in my party, and I was just like, oh, a handsome man. But I never got around to building him. What is this? Oh, he's holding my Shenhe build. Okay. These are artifacts I'm gonna give Shenhe. I always do this. I always give Toma artifact sets I pre-farm for characters. So I have a lot of units built. It's not super vertical investment, if that makes sense. Like, I have built out my account like sideways. The only characters, even like characters that are like technically my strongest, are pretty decently built, right? I would say my strongest is neuvillette. Alhaitham is my strongest build. In terms of like ratio, not necessarily like meta kits. Obviously their kits are very strong, but like my personal builds are probably neuvillette and Hytham are my strongest. Wrio, I would like to improve because I really like him. And I want to use the excuse to use him more in Abyss, but I'm kind of waiting on Shenhe to really polish up his teams. I know there was a lot of me just talking, but I hope it gave you guys a better understanding of where my account's at. You know, my boys do good in the teams that I've built for them. I have fun with it. I've 36 starred the Abyss for months now. Mostly that's due to neuvillette. I've come a long way. I really have. And it's such a crazy thing because like, again, my old content, like looking at, I didn't even understand teams. Like I didn't even know anything about that. I just had characters that I really liked on the team. This was fun, and I hope it, I don't know, appeases some of your curiosity. Because a lot of my channel footage is pre-recorded footage from like years ago. So like, it's not at all reminiscent of what my account looks today. So I hope this gave you a good idea if you care. But anywho, Thank you. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you did, as always, I very much appreciate you spending your time with me. This was super fun to edit. This is like a chill thing, and it's like a little different, breaking up the Sumeru journey, the old recorded videos. I thought it'd be fun to show you guys like where my account is like really at. I know some of you who are frequenters of my streams kind of know a little bit more about where my account's at, because I do Abyss and Imaginarium Theater and stuff on there. So you kind of, you've seen a little bit of the fruits of my labor. But for those of you who are not able to join our Twitch streams or just don't feel like it, which fair, if you're just my YouTube gang, then this is for you. And this was like a fun way for me to kind of show you guys where I'm at. And I do play like every day, and I spend resin every day, and I do my dailies every day. So I have worked really hard on my account, and I hope you can see that. Obviously I can't do much about RNG rolls when it comes to artifacts, but I do try to build smartly and give my best men teams that they deserve. So I hope you enjoyed. This was a fun little thing to do. I will still have my Sumeru upload this week. I know that I've been a little behind with the uploads because I'm in school. So this double upload, the reason why this took so long is I originally recorded this footage like all the way in 5.0, but here we are in 5.1. So oopsie, but it's here. It's still early in the Natlan update. Okay, so go easy on me. If you would like to catch any of my streams, because I do try to stream weekly, may or may not stream this week. I do have a final this week, so we'll see. But if you would like to get notified when I do stream, Discord is the place to go. Our Discord is down in the description, as well as all my other socials if you're interested. So if I don't see you live, then I will see you in the next one.